So now I'll just take that artist oil brush that's filled with white and start stroking in just some kind of a basic tone back here. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like. I'm just throwing something in here so it's going to pop him off of the background. And I'll grab a blender and just smooth out some of those edges. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. So once that's done, I'll go in with my eraser and just turn up the opacity on the eraser. Start knocking out some of those areas that are going to be skin tone, or I want that background color to show through. And then leave the white in other areas. And this is just, there's no real reason for it. It's just kind of an artistic thing. I wanted to leave some of it there and knock some of it out. All right, so once that's done, it's going to look like this. Let me get this mark off of here real quick. All right, then the next thing I'll do is just drop some color in really quickly into his jacket for the shadow areas. And again, that's just going to punch up some of the clothing so that it's not so flat. I haven't given a lot of thought to it yet. After I get the likeness, I usually go in and refine the clothing so that it looks more realistic. But that's the jacket. And then I lay down my skin tone. The first thing I'll do is I'm going to copy this. It's right here. Oops, sorry. I just want to copy my color swatch. Copy. Okay. Paste. All right, so these are colors that looking at the photo, that I've chosen from down here on my palette. And this is what I'll normally do. Just maybe select 5 to 10 different little shades that I will pull from and drop into the skin. And it, obviously it varies from person to person because everybody's skin tone is different. But on him, I noticed that there are these shades in addition to some of that gray that's coming from the background. So I have a scratch board tool here that I keep. This is probably the most important tool that I have, and I'd like to say that I made it up myself, but I didn't. I actually got this from an artist called named Ryan Church, off of one of his tutorial DVDs. I got this brush, and I've been using it like crazy. I'm going to select that. Go to a new layer and just grab this brown color right here, the dark color. Start dropping in some of the shadow areas. And I usually switch up a lot. I'll go to my lighter colors just to break it up and see what I'm doing. I never jump right to my highlight color because if I do that, I end up getting a piece that's more garish than I want, and it throws off my colors. So you'll notice I'm painting under the line drawing. My line drawing is up here on this layer. I'm painting under it, so I'm always going to be able to see what's going on. And the good thing about choosing that light color that I did and setting it to multiply is no matter what color I drop underneath of it, I'll be able to see it. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'll be able to see my line. Also, my opacity, when I'm blocking colors in, I switch it between 30 and 10 usually. When I want to quickly just knock the colors in, I'll have it at the higher opacity. But when I want to start getting a lot of variations in the skin tone, like I have going on here, I'll drop that down pretty low. So I'll go back. For the eyes, I always knock in dark areas first just to recess them, and then my highlights rather later on to push them up. And what I'm doing now is just looking for different landmarks on the face to push up areas and push back others. So I don't want to spend too much time on this part right here, but this is how I basically start to get the base color. When that's done, it's going to end up looking something like this, which, as you can see, is still really rough, but I have enough there to get started. Okay. So next layer. All right. Same thing with the hands. I did that down here, just put in my light tones. I'll make a lot of layers only because if I mess up, I can and I go past my reverts, I can easily just kind of get rid of areas. Another thing too is I can erase different layers, and I get sometimes I'll get something that's an unexpected surprise that will look good for me. All right, so I'm going to go up a little higher now. Usually when I get to the point where I have the colors blocked in, and I like them, I will start painting on top of the line. If you'll notice, my line drawing is right here. I'll lay in a new layer and start painting on top of it to start putting detail. And now this is going to be on top of my line, so I need to make sure that I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. But again, if I mess up, I can just erase. So at this point, I would just go in here and see that, get my brush, there's areas that I want to be a little darker. I'll paint about 90% of my work with that scratch board tool that I was talking about a little earlier. And the other thing I use is my blender, which is just a simple, just add water blender. But I really try not to use that too much. I do want to keep a lot of my brush strokes there, just so people can tell that it's a painting and not so much a digital thing. I don't want anybody to think I use a filter to paint things. And I'll keep grabbing back and forth between the between my color swatches. I have the button on my stylus is set up so that I can easily switch between the eyedropper. And once I get happy with what I have going on in the face, I'll just eyedropper parts that are already on there. And you'll notice I do that a lot. That way I can keep a consistency in my tones.